Hello, fellow citizens. Welcome again to my effort to do all of the CSS battles available. These are daily challenges that CSSBattle.dev does. And today I'm doing 3 from 2023. This is July 31st, 2023. This one is August 1st. And this is August 2nd. Simple shapes, and the idea is to replicate them using HTML and CSS, and they end up being fun for me, and I always learn something, or sometimes I don't, but usually I learn something. Make some determination about what is CSS and HTML, and why are they fun, and they are always fun for me, very enjoyable. All right, so this first one is a cross. The second one is a hashtag or the pound sign, and the third is just a dot that's got a problem with its vertical hold, let's say. All right, so let's start with this guy here. I like to do the hard part first. So what is this shape anyway? We have a bunch of curves. So these are pill shapes, right? There's 2 pill shapes here, but then there's a circle in the middle, but then this is an inner curve, and so it's a fairly complex shape, isn't it? Radial gradient, radial gradient, radial gradient, like that's 3 right there, and if we multiply, if we have 1 radial gradient for each one of these, like all these circles, they add up. It's a lot of code. So we want to use some aspect of symmetry, right? Probably. So the question is how to do that efficiently. So if we do 4 elements and 3 radial gradients apiece, does that get maybe 4 radial gradients apiece? Does that get what we want? What's the most efficient way to do this? And I don't think there's an easy answer. So I'm going to try something odd with this one. I'm going to see if the solid blue circle can replicate on a single element, and if I can then use a clip path to cut it out. Like, is that a thing? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see how little code I can write to get these out. So let's start with putting a radial gradient. I really don't have a good sense if there's a very efficient way to do this one. There may be, and I would love to see it if somebody else has got that. These are super fun for me. 3, and this color is just so harsh. Let's put that background. So how little code can we write? That's the point of a code golf, and get this done. Once again, the goal of a CSS battle is to write as little code as possible. So I'm going to put pink in the background just so I know exactly what I'm doing. And so if we had a repeating gradient that encompassed all of these elements, can we find it is the question, and where would it be? This actually makes me think that the place to put it is on the body, so I'm going to do that. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm trying it. Okay, here we go. And I didn't pull all of it, so okay, so there's our start. So let's make that background repeat. What is the shape of that? If I move that over, so I would like it to be here and here. So I think that it needs to be in the bottom corner or the top corner. So let's do this. It'll be here and here and here and here, and then we'll worry about the other parts that we need to cover once we do that later on. The other thing that we could do is do the negative shapes. But then I think that each one of these has to be different, right? We do half circles, but then each of the ats is going to be different on each one. That sounds hard. Or is this 2 figures? I don't know. There's a lot of ways to do this, and I don't have a sense of the efficiency. So let's make this wider, which already almost gets us what we want. 200 pixels happens to be 50% wide, but doesn't really get us what we want, not entirely. So what I kind of feel inclined to do is figure out the box that 20 pixels, the box that would include only those circles. So let's do that, even though I don't know if that really makes sense. So this is on the body, so we don't have any, these margins aren't doing anything. I just fooled myself into thinking, wow, are those margins doing something? No, they're not doing anything. 4, 5, 6, 7, 70, okay. And then that box needs to be down to 25. And then this box is too wide. Okay. And then I would like, I know I said I was describing what I was doing, and that might have been an inaccurate description. 155. And then we want to be over a little bit more, 175. Okay, so that, and then that is too wide, isn't it? So 95. 95, okay. And then let's do the at part of this. Circle at 40 pixels, something like that. And then what if we let the repeat do its thing? Not quite right. And doesn't encompass all of it. And in fact, we're quite a bit too tall. So 95 again. 95 again. And let's change our at to be what, 35 or 30. And that makes sense because it's a 30 pixel thing. So then if we let the repeat, okay, so that's something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's something. So there's our start. Now, it would be great if that also matched up with these inner curves. It doesn't. It would be great if, yeah, it's not doing it, is it? Yeah, sure, it's interesting. Fine. It doesn't account for this guy. What happens if we set that at, make that 100% wide? Okay. And then we change that. No. So that's kind of interesting. But then if we're doing that, kind of hard to see. It's, one of the programming dictums premature optimization is the enemy is an enemy worth considering. The source of all evil. I don't think it's quite that. Let's go back to this. I think there's something interesting there. It makes me want to go back and put this on this. Yeah, so let's do that. And then let's use that. We're going to use those margins. Margin. We don't want padding. Background. And we'll start with that color. And then this height is 2, 3. Okay. So that's the full height. And that weirdly, that's actually doing it. But let's set the margins in on this. (20,0) and then make it less tall. So maybe it's 0. And then a little taller, 2280. Okay. That's kind of interesting. And then, so the margin top is 0. How about 30 here? And let's play with these numbers until we see something that lines up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 95. Nope, that's too much. Actually, simpler to okay, 75. Is it 75? How about 85? So what am I doing wrong there? I don't know. I don't quite know yet. I guess this position. Aha. That's not too bad. Okay. So 80, 75. All right, so that lines up. Now what? Okay, smart guy, what do you do next? I mean, that's cool, but we've got multiple problems at this point, right? We don't have this inner curve. We don't have the solids here, and we still have to punch out the middle. So did we really do anything? It's possible we didn't do much at all. That makes me think this is a dead end, as fun as it was to line that up. Now I kind of hate it. Like, no, this is bad. So I'm going to use my my four up grid. P, P, X, P, Y, and P, X, Y. And we're going to do margin of 0 and display flex. And the heights of these are going to end up being what, 200, or actually we can use margins to set these. So I'm gonna nuke this. I know that's painful. Background red, height 50. Background red, height 50. I have some, there we go, missing a semicolon, width 50. Okay, so what I want to do is flex wrap, and just for sanity, I'm going to put a gap on here, even though I don't need one or want one. But I want to only put elements in here that have dark blue in them. So to begin with, I only want I only want parts that include the dark blue. So I'm actually going to use that dark blue, and that'll help us see the contrast. Okay, let's use margins and get things there. I think we're going to also need to put a margin of 0 on this, because we're going to run into that, and that's a bummer, but you know, part of it. All right, so 50, 75, 25, 75. Yeah, we knew that number. We ignored it, however. All right, so what's the width? 1020. 125 by 125. so we've got our first thing. Our margin is 0. Our wrap, so we're gonna remove that gap, and now we've got that. So what's next? We've got shapes that we need to fill in, and so the invisible thing. Let's start with a radial gradient at circle at 100%, 100%, and we're going to say transparent in the middle, 20 pixels, and then a dark blue, and we're going to say 0. Oh, actually, yeah, it's at 100 pixels, 100 pixels, and it's width of 25 pixels, 25 pixels, and no repeat. Oh, what did you just do, Joe? What is that crazy code you just wrote? Okay, so, and we can't see it yet, so did I ruin everything? Yeah, it's invisible circle at, and those are positioning. Those positions are too tall. Let's do it at 0, 0. Oh, that's it. There. So that's what I just did. And we're going to put a transform on this. Scale bar of dash dash x or 1. Or bar of dash dash y or 1. And then on things with the x attribute, dash dash x is -1. And things with the y attribute, dash dash y is -1. And don't forget your semicolons. Okay, so not too bad. So that's that first part. Why does that work? I don't know, it's a good question. So let's play that out. We're going to start in the middle there. And that circle's at 100%, so it's in the bottom corner. So if we expand this, make it taller, if we make it, let's make it 100 pixels wide and 30 pixels tall, 40, 50 pixels tall, and put it at 0, 0. So that's what the actual background is. So what I'd like to do is put that lower. So the height minus so the height is what, 50 we're saying? Okay, how about 95? Okay, and then let's move it over. If those circles are 30 pixels, maybe it's 15 pixels. 15. How about 25 pixels? That could be right. All right, so that circle then at 100%. So the width of this is wrong. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 90, 100, and then where's that circle? How come I'm not seeing my circle? So I can't see that red circle. So where is that? Where is it? Well, it's there. Ah, interesting. So I need it to be in the bottom corner. So that needs to be over at 40 pixels. 40 pixels. So 40 pixels is too low. 3. How about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 100 pixels, and then a little bigger. 30. That covers a lot. I can't say I love it, but I can't deny that it's doing the job. So, now that I've got that, what have I got? Not a lot. This is taking a long time. I can sort of feel it taking a long time. Okay, so what's next? At this point, I have, you know, like maybe this is overkill. Maybe this would have been better with 2 shapes, crosswise, fixed width, with covers. So this is where, you know, the backgrounds are a little trickier to do. If I repeat it, yeah, so that's no good. If I repeat Y, if I repeat X, either of those are bad. So I do need to do no repeat with this technique. It's not great. It's not great, Bob. All right. Okay, so let's. Now we're committed. So this is like what, 4 radial gradients? I mean, it's a lot of radial gradients at this point because we need. So that's the first one, and then we need to go upward. Or is the right technique to do? All right, so even though we've got that, got it in our pocket, let's do the other circles. Radial gradient. All right, so okay. So here's another trick. G, radial gradient, and this would be the dark blue, and it's going to be circle, dark blue, 30 pixels, transparent, 0, semicolon. And then I'm going to put that in as a var dash dash G, comma. All right, and then I'm going to move that around. 2, 3, nope, minus 3, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 65, and then minus 25. How about 35? None of this math makes any sense. That's terrible. This is all bad. So is that circle? I thought we did this. What am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm not doing anything wrong. 75. And no repeat. Okay. So maybe it's the repeat was the problem there. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 3. Let's just keep playing with these numbers. And then it's going to be fun again. 50, 40, 30, 50, 40, 20. Those are worse. That's way worse. 6, 65, 75, 70. It's overkill, isn't it? So I'm sure that when I watch this video in the future, I will see exactly what I'm doing wrong. That's sort of kooky. 25. All right, so how is this different? 50, 50, 50, 60, 50, 40, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4. Something's off there, right? I want to say there's something about setting. Am I setting the wrong one? Oh boy. I don't know why 28 looks right. That's bonkers. All right, what don't I understand about this? There's something I don't understand about this. I almost don't want to post this because I've confused myself with an overly complex gradient, and it makes me think that this whole approach is just way wrong, super duper wrong. So what next? I'm stuck. I feel stuck. So rather than get bogged down, we're going to start again. Apologies for that. Definitely on the bummer side. I still think that it might be useful to use that same technique, but instead of what I did before, I'm going to do 4 elements that are this color and then have a background of this color. So we're going to do the reverse. And that margin is 0. I'm going to still going to display flex. Okay. We need a width. Okay, and we need a margin 0. And we need that transform. Scale var dash dash x or 1, comma var dash dash y or 1. Okay, and we definitely want a gap. 20 pixels, let's say. Okay, to start. All right, so what I want to do is I want to do these negative spaces instead. So that's the first part I'm going to do. And I want a border radius of 0, 0, 20 pixels, 0. And then for the x, dash dash x will be -1. And for the y, dash dash y is -1. And then I have to do x, yep. And then this is y, because we just wrapped, and then x and y. Okay, those are our pieces. Let's make it taller. Great. 100, 120, 130, 200, too wide, right? 1.5. So what have we got? That's not the width. Oh, because we need to make flex wrap. Yeah, this feels like less work and less painful, even though I do love a lot of gradients. The repetitive nature of this makes it a little less interesting because we have symmetries on several axes, and the approach that I was taking just was less easy to work with for me. Maybe you could make it work. It'd be great. Go for it. Terrific. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we change that border radius. 5, 6, 27, 28, 29. Oh, it's 30. There it is. So that's a piece. Then what? Then what? So what's the next move? So we got these elements. Having those inner curves is definitely nice. We definitely appreciate that. I feel like the middle circle is the easiest part of this because we're seeing through. Now, do we need more elements? I don't think we do. I think I had that original. Do we want to use a border? Solid. Border width. This is going to change all our math. Just to have everything be super fun. Okay, so we have to ignore 25. 25 and 75 we said. And then we need to change these widths to accommodate that. So that 170 now needs to be a smaller thing. Do we need to drop 75 from each one? That makes it 95. And then we need to drop 25 from each of these, so that's 95 as well. Yep. And now we've got a cross. Now what? Can we use the box shadows of these elements for anything? No, probably not. That's what we're looking through. So if we then do background radial gradient of this blue. So is this the original thing that I showed? Am I back to the original idea? Circle. Too small. And then we move that up. Was it? I don't remember what those widths were. And I don't remember what the at was. But is there a scenario where this lines up? Maybe. So let's move it vertically. Let's see if we can get, if we set the width, the height of this correctly. 95, 105. 125. All right, so again, our friend no repeat, and then we move that over. All right, so let's create the narrow box of this to begin with too. Well, we're not really at the beginning. We're deep into this. Okay, so that's a 30 pixel radius, and these are 60 pixels wide. Is that right? And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, and then the at. Do we need the at? I'd like to do it without it, but I'm not sure that I can reason about that math very well if I do that. So taller, 205, 10, 20, 30, 40, 30, 230, 220. That looks like it would accommodate a circle. And then if I move that vertically, do I get it? Can I get it into place? And is that the interval? Minus 40, minus 30, minus 30, 40, 50, 60, 55. Do we then, if we repeat it, get something good? Almost. Almost. So let's look at that again. So too tall. But then each of these adjustments obligates us to do another adjustment. So also less tall. All right, let's try the repeat again. And that's right in place. And we do need that. And then if we do also 60 here, no, that's not right. If we do also, we do this width as a different width. What do we got? So we're not seeing that. Oh, do we want it to be even shorter because we need the middle ones? Or do we need to do two of these? No, I think we can do it. So this is getting back to the original scheme. It's 190. If I drop 60 from that, do I get something? Almost. To 10. Let's move that vertically. Close. $90, and then let's move that vertically again. Okay, and then 95, and then let's move that vertically. My kingdom for some graph paper. Yeah, this is not a great video. It doesn't feel like a great video. Maybe this is entertaining to watch me flail. But again, doing it improvisationally definitely is part of this is the challenge of it. I just don't have confidence about each of these decisions that I'm making, as it feels like you know, they're not planned, because I'm trying to pre-optimize, and because I'm loath to do the at here, I'm hurting myself. But that also means that I got to play with all these different numbers that I have multiple independent multiple variables that have effects on the others, and looking at the repeat definitely makes it trickier. So let's set that at 0 again. And again, that circle, let's do 50%, 50%. If we started at the center, does that help? Maybe let's make that height more. Maybe that's easier to reason with. 4, 5. And if I make space for a half circle, no, I need space for the whole circle. So 160, 155, 150, and then repeat. Oh, because of the at, so it's even less than I think it is. So it's really that, isn't it? Okay, so that's the problem. Almost. And then how about this? And that's it. Awesome. So I think that's lined up correctly. And if I use transparent here, I think that does line up correctly. So now it's a matter of radial gradient. So the question is, can I do a radial gradient here in the middle? So this is pretty painful. This was pretty painful, but I feel okay about that result. I don't need the repeat there. So and I need this next circle. I need a circle on top, right? So I need a circle of 30 pixels, and I need to be transparent. And I need a comma. And I need to spell circle correctly. Radial gradient, and I don't need a trailing comma. And so that's those. So then can I do an additional radial gradient behind it, everything that is dark blue to that color. Did I just nail it? Maybe. Let's submit this and see if that is it. So what are the component parts of this? We have a repeating gradient that is these blues, and so that's a perfect match. All right, so the first one is that light guy, and the next one is those corners, and then the last one is this circle, and then borders are also doing the work here, and then we've got covers here. So if we remove those, you can see that's the actual background. So we've created this very complicated background, and there you can see everything that's on the body. So that's what's on the body. All right. I wish that had been faster. That was not faster. Thanks for watching along. If you've gotten this far, we've only done one of the 3. And that's the end of July 2023. That is a better solution than what I've come up with in the past. I've done this one several times. For giggles, let's look at the first one I ever did. Load the code. So yeah, you can see that I did the border radiuses differently, but it's actually the same approach. It's very similar in approach. We've got multiple radial gradients here. Yeah. Whoops. I don't know what that was browser-wise. So yeah, it's not too far off. Same idea, but where's the best one? Is that the best? That is the best one. So this is today's, and that's the best. Are there other things we can do to optimize? Maybe. For example, with this background of 9595, do we need the keyword circle? Nope, we don't. And then that doesn't, I don't know if there are other opportunities for optimizations. Can we remove the keyword circle here? Probably not. No. That's cool. So that's a little, and even slightly better. Fun. This is what I do for fun. Thank you for playing along and watching along. Pretty enjoyable. Big lessons there. Yeah. All right. Next. More of these rounded rectangles. More rounded rectangles. And this one might be straightforward. An element. So we got an element. We got 2 elements. And looks like that. And it's got a rounding to it, border radius of some interval. Say call it 20 pixels to start. That height could be something like 40. 40 could be right. I don't know. We're gonna need more than one of them. Okay. The body needs a brown. And we would like those to be set into place, so let's move those margins a little. 8, 9, 90, 90 and 100. Okay, that's the first one. And really, if I do a color, of that orange, and let's just remove the second one for a second, and I do a box shadow, which moves nothing on the x-axis, and then we'll move probably 132, like 90 pixels. Maybe it's 80 pixels. We've got 2 of them. And the next one, what if we rotate the next one? Transform, rotate 90 degrees. There it is. And then I guess we need to translate a few pixels. I'm putting values in here. I don't know if I need them in both of them. Minus 10, minus 20, 30, minus 40, sure, and then minus 30, no, minus 30, minus 10, minus 15, minus 16. That's it. Not too bad. Quick, far less painful than the prior one. You replace and minify. That's it. I think that's a nice solution to that. We got replications and we don't have symmetries, and that's a new high score, so I'm happy with that. That's great. Far less painful, almost anticlimactic, but a lot of things going on there, right? Box shadow gets its color from the main color of the body. You could also do the box shadow with that, and we're not overwriting it. If I do red, then you'll see those box shadows. Those are the box shadows, which is itself kind of an interesting effect, an interleaving there, but that's not what we want. That's done. Did it. Great. Oh, and this is a great one. I think we only need a radial gradient, and I don't think we need an element. So this is a big circle that we need to alter. Radial gradient, circle, and it's orange, and it's that 40%, 0. I don't think that's correct. Let's make it a little wider. Maybe it's 50%. And then what? Offset. Nine. So we've taken this background, which has a implicit auto repeat on it, and we're moving it into place. And what units can we use there? 50 view height. Yeah, so that's half of the height. We're just moving it up. That's nice. That's elegant. Elegant, quick. I think that's a perfect match. I don't see any jitter. Maybe I see a little jitter. Let's find out. Let's see if that works. So that's good. We'll minify and unit replace. I don't think there's any. Remove that. We actually don't need the repeat. And funny enough, we don't need that trailing brace. Now, I don't usually remove those. It feels a little dirty to remove that trailing brace, but I'm going to do it for this because that's a nice terse set, and that is indeed the highest score that I've gotten on this guy. I believe I can also do another optimization and call that star. No, I can't. Look at that. Oh, that's fun. Oh, or is it and? I can't remember the tricks. There's a few keywords that you can use to get things even terser. But that's fun. That's it. So that's a high score I've ever gotten in any solution. But that is a very simple, interesting shape. Thanks for playing along. That was the dot, the hash, and the crazy cross that I flailed on. But many lessons, right? So do the hard part first. Don't overestimate your ability to visualize a radial gradients effect. Use the elements to their best ability. Think about the layering. It's fun stuff. It's great stuff. It's actually really, really fun, as much as that was painful. And I hate that I'm going to put it up to see just how fallible I am. But I'm a fallible human being, and that's okay. You know, I'm not ChatGPT. I'm not an SVG. I'm not a piece of software. I'm a human being, and I like to write code. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.